Malik D, your financial credit guru, the hit maker of the school. Welcome back to the next episode of The School. And for those of you guys who do not know who Malik D, your financial credit guru, the hit maker of the school is, I am a financial credit consultant that has been in this game for the past 30 some years of helping individuals restore their personal credit and their business credit. I have had some of the biggest stars you can name out there in Hollywood as my clients and still have them as my clients. I also render my services to the average working class citizens as well too. Blue collar, white collar, you name it. I have changed many, many lives within this financial and financial credit space. And my platform is here to give you guys financial information, knowledge, and financial lifelines, as well as information that is needed to help you navigate through this economy and this society. So let me just get that straight with you right now for those of you who do not know who Malik D, your financial credit guru, the hit maker, the score is. My track record speaks for itself. With over 30-some thousand clients, been doing this for a long, long time, over 30-some years. And individuals know, there's a lot of individuals out there that know who I am. You just don't know yet. But stay plugged into this YouTube channel and you would get to understand and you would get to know who Malik D, your financial credit guru, the hit maker, the score is. Just want to drop that on you. But anyway, let me introduce you to my co-host, tax accountant, Mr. Dan Green with Green Financial. Brother Dan, how you doing today?
Doing well. I hope everybody's doing well also.
We can barely hear you, Dan.
Said doing great. Hope everybody else is having a great day too.
Seemed like you just got through taking care of some of that tax business over there, huh?
Oh yeah. It's never done. Well, I'm always busy, it seems, year round doing taxes and financial consulting and what have you. So I stay pretty busy.
Yeah. Tax season is right around the corner.
It's almost upon us.
But anyway, this episode of The School is going to be very interesting because due to Donald Trump becoming the 47th president of the United States of America, mainstream media now is getting ready to be a thing of the past. Mainstream media is dead, Dan. There's a lot of news outlets, major news outlets that are on their way out as things are circulating and surfacing out here now with MSNBC and a lot of other mainstream news outlets. Like I said, it's going to be a thing of the past. There's going to be other streaming platforms that's going to be the new news now for a lot of people to catch their news and to catch all the financial information that they need to catch. But
it's
anyway,
they've already arrived.
Oh, it's already arrived.
Yes.
But anyway, let me go ahead and jump into this clip right here so we can go ahead and keep our viewers and listeners in tune as to what it is we're going to be discussing today. You guys just be patient with me. I'm still learning how to navigate.
Live. So how do Democrats need to change the way they communicate to voters if you think that's part of the problem?
For sure. I mean, I think all of us have to come to grips with legacy media is just not as important as it thinks it is. It is to you, it is to me. That's a relatively small group of people who rely on us for their information. And you have to go into the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. And basically, the way people get information is shattered into 20, 30 different pieces. And so if you just look empirically at the numbers, Joe Rogan's more important than any of us. He just has a much bigger, hyper-connected audience that listens to his every word. So maybe listen to Joe Rogan and kind of understand, like, what is he talking about? What are the guests that he has on? What are the issues that they care about? Realize that the gravity of right-wing discourse is now taking place on X. It's not Fox. X is what matters. Elon Musk is now, I wrote about this yesterday, arguably the most powerful civilian in the history of the country. He controls information flow. He controls multiple businesses. He has the president's ear. He's going to be in charge of some newfangled organization to gut government spending. We've not seen a person with that kind of clout across those sectors. But where his real power comes from is X. People thought he was an idiot when he bought X because he lost a lot of money. He's got a lot of money. And now he happens to have the most powerful platform on the right. And politics is downstream from information. And there's just a whole new information ecosystem out there. So for us, for you, for Democrats, for Republicans, you have to understand that you now are going to have to basically navigate 20 or 30 different parts of the ecosystem if you want to connect with the American people who vote.
Dan, he said a mouthful right there. And I can basically understand what's taking place with mainstream media now becoming a thing of the past, and now is a thing of the past and it's dead, because now you have platforms, streaming platforms such as Tubi, such as YouTube, such as Vizio or Vimeo or whatever the case might be, that is now putting out these different, this different type of information where people can gather their information from, whether it be news or etc.
Exactly. The reason Donald Trump's election proved that the power of the legacy media is dead. And the reason why I'm saying that is, if you look, there's a group called the Media Research Group, or the Media Research Council, I think is the name of it, but it's a privately funded group. It's a conservative group, and they do analysis of the mainstream media, the cable news outlets, and what have you. And with the exception of Fox News and Newsmax, the media coverage of Donald Trump is anywhere between 80 to 90% negative. Think about that. Throughout his presidency and throughout both of his campaigns, all three of his campaigns, the media, and you can, I can't remember there's a site you can go to, and all you got to do is turn on the network news at night, and all the coverage of Trump is negative. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
And then whether it's Harris, Clinton, or Biden, the percentage is somewhere between 70 to 80% positive. That turned a lot of middle America off because they could see the bias. They could see the bias of the coverage. And the media, they've been caught in lies so many times, and they never apologize. They never do a mea culpa. They never say, okay, we made a mistake and we should have disclosed this. Like the Russia hoax. Yeah, they were all in on that. The laptop, they helped cover that up along with big tech. Yeah. They never acknowledged the fact that the laptop regarding Biden was real, and all Hunter Biden's laptop. They and a lot of them to this day. And like I said, the Russia collusion thing, you still have people in mainstream media that believe Trump is an asset of Putin to this day, even though the Mueller investigation totally disproved it.
Or Hitler.
Yeah, and of course he's been called Hitler and all that, and it's been echoed in the media, Hitler and a fascist and all that kind of stuff. That turned off most America. It was effective in 2016, and it was effective in 2020. People finally caught on, and that he won not only the electoral college, he won the popular vote, and that's the first time Republicans has done that in over 20 years. Okay, and so that's dead. That is the best proof you have, is that the effect, the power of the mainstream media and these left-wing cable outlets, they are in decline, mass decline. Their ratings are way down. Fox News.
I was just getting ready to say something about their ratings. The way the MSN, what is it? MSNBC, CNN, and it's another one. MSNBC, CNN, and what's the NBC? The ratings is completely down in the basement, and it just had a transition that took place with Comcast coming in.
And Comcast owns them, and they're going to spin them off into another division. CNBC, MSNBC.
A hedge fund came in and got them too.
They're going to be actually set up with a separate division, but they won't be under direct management of Comcast anymore, because they're basically loss leaders now. That's the way they're looking at them. There's going to be CNN. They're getting ready to have mass layoffs, and some of their own air talent. they're going to have cuts in their salaries if they want to stay.
Whoa.
That's how bad it's getting at CNN. And they're trying to, MSNBC is so far to the left, they have nowhere to go. CNN is trying to pivot a little bit to the center now, because they went when they went under Zucker, that previous president. I mean, he took them so far to the left. They were trying to race with MSNBC to see who could go as far left. And that worked during the early years of the Trump administration, made them profitable. Their ratings went up. But now people just had enough of the lies and the misinformation. And
it's been a lot of misinformation, Dan.
Oh yeah,
like you said, Russian collusion. Trump is Hitler. Trump with the Stormy Daniels situation. That type of negative publicity and negative stuff that they was using these mainstream medias for, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, The View. The View is on its way out too.
CBS, all of them. Yeah, I mean, it's just a small group of people that watch The View. I mean, the collective IQ of the panelists on The View is less than 100.
Wow.
Okay, I mean, they're just stupid. I mean, it's just. I mean, it's a bunch of cackling hens. I'm sorry, that's what they are.
No, and there's no need to be sorry. The truth is the truth.
Yeah, I know people that watch it. I said, how can you watch that garbage? I mean, it's like watching I would rather watch a soap opera.
It seemed like it's a bunch of on The View. It seemed like it's a bunch of bitter, angry ass women on there that are male bashers, that are male bashing women.
Exactly. Exactly. They just love beta males because they can beat them around and just they can literally manhandle them. And I mean, it's just insane. They're just a bunch of harpies. That's what they are. I mean, they're mad with the world, completely mad with the world.
Male bashers.
Exactly. But what I was going to say about the mainstream media, the legacy media, for the last 20 or 30 years, Malik, they've just been an extension of the Democratic Party. They're there. And that includes the big newspapers and all. You had conservative
New York Times as well.
Oh, New York Times is a garbage can. There's one paper now, the owner, and I've seen him interview the owner of the new owner of the LA Times, that said we have got to bring in conservatives. We got to bring in both sides. We're supposed to be a newspaper, and all these people left in mass. The editorial board of the LA Times, there was a big. They all wanted to leave and everything because the LA Times would not endorse Kamala Harris, and he said we're not going to do it. The owner said we're not going to do it. The editorial board was all up in arms because typically most major newspapers and most of them are losing money big time.
Hold that thought. Let's take a quick commercial break so we can pay the bills. My name is Malik Davis. I'm effective and I'm efficient when it comes down to producing those credit results. I don't play around. Yeah, I have a lot of shrewdness with me and a lot of aggressiveness with me, but I get the job done and my clients appreciate that.
There's a dude by the name of Malik. We call him Malik, the credit guru. He goes in and cleans up everything.
What type of clients do I service? I service them all. Blue collar, white collar, doctors, lawyers, actors, singers. Doesn't matter who you are. I don't have time for your games. I don't have time for your bullshit. Either you want your credit fixed or either you don't.
And one of the reasons why my credit is incredible because I got Malik Davis 211 credit guru. This is not an endorsement. This is knowledge.
Either you want your credit fixed or either you don't. Either you want me to properly educate you and lead you to where you need to be led so you can obtain the things that you need to obtain, or you don't. You seeking my services out. Don't tell me what it is that you want to do when you're seeking my services out, because I'm telling you what you need to do.
No matter how much money you got, that credit got to be right. So I can always depend on my boy Malik Davis to make sure my credit is always right. No matter how much money you got in this world, your credit is crucial. Make sure it's clean, make sure it's tight, make sure it's right. Check him out.
Welcome back to the school. Dan, let's continue to keep resuming on.
Yeah, most of the, like I said, in part of the legacy media, the newspapers, they're basically dead. They're very unprofitable now. They're just they're like to me, they're like what would I say, ego purchases. They're people like Bezos, that owns the Washington Post, and people like that, and these guys that don't. I mean, these people don't read. When was the last time you bought a Charlotte Observer?
Oh, it's been many years.
Yeah, people don't buy the newspapers, and
people don't buy the newspapers no more.
Because they have these. They have these, they have those. They don't need newspapers. I mean, they don't have. But what I'm saying is, they're trying to survive and stay relevant, but they're irrelevant now. But at least, in order for them to even have any viability at all, which I don't think they're going to have, even though they're they are online now. You can follow. You can pretty much subscribe to them online. Is that they got to be more fair and balanced, because these papers have been, and they're not. Media outlets, they've been in the tank, and the people are finally waking up that they have been misled for the last 20 or 30 years by these legacy media groups.
See, a lot of people don't know that Donald J. Trump won his presidency by going on these podcasts, which is another form of news information, which is another outlet to connect with his demographic, to connect with the people by using those YouTube channels or the YouTube podcasts like Joe Rogan. He went on several other ones as well too, as far as these streaming platforms is concerned, to be used as news outlets to gravitate and to pull these people in, so he could so they could have voted for him, so he could have won president, which he did. But see, it goes back to what you said. The mainstream media is dead because these podcasts are what got Donald Trump elected.
That's the present and the future. And Joe Rogan, the Donald Trump sit down with Joe Rogan, you had almost 40 million views.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot. For 3 hours now, he had basically 38, almost 40 million views.
Smart man. Donald Trump is a smart man. He's a smart businessman.
He went straight to, and he got some of those. He peeled off some of those otherwise Democrat voters or independent voters that watch Rogan. He pulled some of the young black males, the Hispanics, he pulled some of those young folks away from the Democratic ticket
by utilizing those podcasts.
Rogan offered Kamala Harris an opportunity to go on there to counter Trump. She didn't do it because she knows that her handlers won't be there to protect her, and she knows she's going to say something. She knew that she was going to say something stupid, and it would have. That's like when she went on the Fox News interview. She cut it. It was supposed to be 30 minutes. It ended up being like 20 minutes. Actually, it's supposed to be like 30 to 45 minutes.
I thought it was supposed to be an hour.
Well, it was supposed to, with everything, with the commercial stuff, it was supposed to be about 35, 40 minutes. But then it ended up being like 20 minutes. She was late, so that they have to truncate it and all that stuff. And then they were making all these demands and stuff and all that stuff, because they know that if you give her a lot of more time than normal, if you give her, the more time you give her, the more likely she is to say something stupid, because she wasn't a very bright person. She wasn't a good candidate. That's just, and it has nothing to do with the fact that she's a black woman or anything like that. She is just not that bright. Just like Joe Biden was not that bright. He's a white male. They both were terrible candidates. Terrible candidates. And COVID got Biden elected. I won't get into all of that. But what I'm saying is, she was given the same opportunities, but she was throwing money in the mainstream legacy media because they were carrying her. They carried her. She was counting on that. Just like all the Democrats of the past. They carried Obama.
Yeah.
They carried Obama. They carried Hillary, even though she lost.
And
they carried Biden. They protected Biden in 2020. The mainstream media did.
And those mainstream media outlets like MSNBC, CNN, ABC, and all those type of individuals, they made sure that they censored Donald Trump.
Exactly. Anytime there was positive news about Trump, they just didn't even show it. I've asked people when Trump signed that executive order to basically fund the historically black colleges up for 10 years, $400 million. I ask a lot of people, have y'all seen that? The mainstream media didn't cover it. You could only find it online of Fox News or Newsmax.
Now, when it's something negative about Donald Trump, they're covering.
Oh, it's the lead story. Or anybody in his orbit. Anybody that's in his orbit in trouble. If they stepped on the sidewalk, it's the lead story. Even on the local news, it's the lead story, and it's the lead story, obviously, in the legacy mainstream media. Anything negative about Trump, and that's the way it's going to be the next 4 years. I can guarantee you that. They are obsessed with taking down Trump.
So you think it'd be like that for the next 4 years with mainstream? Well, hold on. With mainstream media being dead and these streaming platforms now is the new news now, and the new information where people can get the new outlet where people can get their information from now, Dan?
I guarantee you, the majority of the media of the press, of the coverage of the stories that are covered in the mainstream media will be negative towards Trump, or they'll ignore it. Then there's some things that they won't be able to ignore, obviously. But if the economy is improving or whatever, they'll always attribute it to stuff that Biden had put in place before Trump got off. That's just like they did when stuff
I'm kind of confused. I'm kind of confused. If the mainstream media is dead and on its way out, hold on, and then we're using these streaming platforms now, like for people to gather the information, to get news, and to get the information that they're looking to go get or to seek. How is it that these mainstream media's outlets will still be in a position to still block him if it's positive news coming out when they are on their way out and they dead, Dan? And you got these
I'm saying for their audience
platforms now.
They're minuscule audiences. They'll still be around. I mean, they'll be dead, but they just won't have any impact.
You got Joy Reid over there with MSP. A lot of people get ready to lose their jobs.
But what I'm telling you, Malik, they'll have a very small audience. They won't have any influence anymore. That's what I'm saying. They're going to still be around in some form or shape. I'm tracking. They don't have the power they did when Walter Cronkite, John Chancellor,
I'm tracking
and people
you
like that were at the height of their powers. They don't have that. People don't run at 6 o'clock like my old man would do and watch Walter Cronkite, and you better be quiet while he's listening. You don't have that anymore. You don't. That era is dead and gone. It will never be resurrected. You got too much power on the net now and the apps and stuff. People know where to go to get the truth now. Trump proved that on November the 5th that the power and the influence of the mainstream media is finished. It's done. They do not. There's still some people out there that are stupid and will continually believe that stuff because they have Trump derangement syndrome or they hate conservatives or whatever. You're gonna always have fringe groups, but the mainstream media is going to be consigned to the dust heap.
What you mean by dust heap?
They're basically dead.
Gotcha.
They're not going to have the power. And these a lot of people will in the next year or two, especially places like CNN, there's going to be massive cuts. They're talking about cutting back the talent at CBS now and salaries and stuff like that and firing people and all that.
Wow.
I think some might have a come to Jesus moment and try to bring in. CNN actually has a few conservative people now. And MSNBC is a lost cause. CNBC, I could see them since it's a business network. I could see them, and they're not as bad as MSNBC. That is their sister network, and they will be part of that same group, that new company, under that new company, holding company, or what have you. But I could see CNBC but Fox Business is killing it. Fox News has almost 4 times the ratings as MSNBC, 5 or 6 times. CNN has on average like 400,000 people a night. Think about that. Joe Rogan has 38 million on average. Not 38 million. He has 18 million followers.
That's a lot of followers.
He has been viewed over 5 billion times.
Ooh.
And CNN, on average, 400,000 views. per night, viewers per night. Think about that. Fox News has 3.5 million.
Let's take a quick commercial break so we can pay the bills.
For me, cooking is an art. I like having fun. I'm not a chef, but I definitely love pancakes. Growing up, my grandfather always made pancakes with a crispy edge. So for me, when I make my pancakes, they have to have a crispy edge to it. I love food. I know people think vegans don't eat, but I eat. I love eating. And I do have a sweet tooth, so funnel cakes and pancakes, yeah, I'd say they're kind of my weakness.
Welcome back to the Score. Dan, let me jump over here talking about these streaming platforms, these streaming outlets like YouTube, like a Tubi, like a Vizio or Fubu or whatever the case might be, and going a little bit deeper with these streaming platforms like YouTube. Here it is. We new to this YouTube partnership or this YouTube platform that we using to get information out to our viewers and to our listeners. And it's not like we need a YouTube channel or YouTube to actually sustain our lifestyles or to generate income. Like most people have to have a YouTube channel and look to get monetized in order to generate some type of income or some type of check to support their livelihood and their lifestyles and things like that. But we don't need it. We using this platform, this new YouTube channel, to try to be, to try to give information out to our viewers and listeners. For that purpose, we use our YouTube channel to try to educate individuals that lack certain type of education financially. We use our YouTube platform to try to give people financial lifelines. But I say that to say this: even if mainstream media is dead, and it's a lot of censoring that took place with these mainstream medias to try to censor certain individuals, don't you think that these streaming platforms do the same? Like YouTube, when you pushing out content or you pushing out certain kind of information, like for instance, like with a Donald Trump, like for instance, like for the Republican Party, don't you think the content that you upload to YouTube, that those algorithms don't suppress that information or suppress that content from reaching certain viewers, since this is the new news now, which is these streaming platforms? Do you get where I'm coming from?
That has been an issue in the past because of Google, the parent company of YouTube. And
let's expound on that, because I really want to talk about that.
You've got Google and you've got Facebook, and they have censored conservative talk in the past on the various platforms that they own. That has been an issue. Now, you've got Trump in office now, and they've already said, and the odd thing about it is that the Democrats, the Biden administration, is in the process, the Federal Trade Commission is in the process of suing Google to break it up. And Google has been one of the staunchest allies of the Democratic Party. Most of the people that the people that founded Google,
if I'm not mistaken,
Facebook,
without cutting you, if I'm not mistaken, I apologize for cutting you off. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't it Google that was one of the biggest donors or the endorsers to Kamala Harris's campaign?
And Biden's and Clinton's. As a matter of fact, the people at Google literally cried the night that Trump won the first time.
Wow.
They showed footage of them. They they basically stated never again. And they were part of what happened in 2020 that we'll get into some other time. But they along with the Democratic Party, censored all the information relating to that laptop. Facebook did, Google, YouTube, you couldn't say anything. They and Twitter. Twitter was the biggest culprit. Wow. Because at that time, Twitter was still owned, was publicly traded, but it was still under control by its founder and a couple of left-wing nuts that controlled, and they censored anything relating to Hunter Biden and to the Biden campaign in general. It had to be all positive. And if it was anything negative, they censored it. They took your account down, deactivated your account. That went on. And remember the Twitter files when after Elon Musk bought Twitter, which is now X, of course. But then he and a couple of he hired some liberal journalists, and they went in and started investigating, and they saw all the stuff that had been going down, how everything was being coordinated by the Justice Department, the CIA. They were in cahoots. The FBI and the CIA, they were in cahoots with Twitter, Facebook, and Google, and basically said, if you hear anything about the laptop, it's Russian disinformation.
So
and the FBI knew that the FBI had the laptop all the way back to 1919. This is 2020 during the campaign, and they went and talked and said it's disinformation and it needs to be censored. That was the FBI, and that's come out in the Twitter files.
That's very interesting, Dan, that you brought Google up like that, and Google played a major part in that to censor and to suppress certain informations from getting out that would have cleared certain individuals in certain situations.
Yeah, that was and
so,
it was always
so I go back to say this. Dealing with this new YouTube channel as a streaming platform that we just recently started, I have noticed, now that you have enlightened me, that Google played a part in this. And Google is one of Kamala Harris's and Joe Biden's biggest donors and endorsers. With the type of content that we are putting out here on this new YouTube channel, I have been, reading and looking at the analytics as the content that we put out that is uploaded, on how certain pieces of content, depending on what we're talking about, is basically being suppressed. So a lot of our viewers and listeners cannot view these episodes and certain information and certain topics that we're talking on to be visible to them to look at these episodes, Dan. I noticed that by looking at the analytics, that certain content that we are uploading is being suppressed, so certain viewers and certain people or individuals cannot see these episodes.
And that's the truth. And it's happened to me when I post stuff on Facebook. It still does to this day. Just it happened to me last week, and it was a factual piece I put up, and they took it down. They took it
down.
Did
I break that down right? Did I break that down right? Will you understand where I'm coming from?
Exactly.
I want to make sure I'm not crazy. I'm not
they
crazy.
They have algorithms that will do that, and they have these fact checkers. I've had it happen to me on Instagram too. I've had it happen to me on comments I've made that were taken down on posts from other people's posts, and I make a comment, and it was always negative about it.
But the thing is that I'm so glad that we don't rely on a YouTube channel or get monetized in order to feed us, Dan. We use this platform to try to educate individuals with financial literacy and news that matters and information that matters. That's what we use this platform for. And we're going to continue to keep using this YouTube platform to put the information out, to put the financial lifelines out, to educate individuals on financial literacy and taxes and all that corporation stuff that comes along with the business coming from you. We're going to continue to use this platform because we're not looking for YouTube to feed us, or we're looking to get monetized to bring in a check just to try to sustain ourselves and take care of our families, because we have other businesses moving on where we're generating income and making money. This is what we're using this platform for, is to try to educate people. But I want to know what kind of changes that Donald Trump is going to implement when you're dealing with these social media platforms, these streaming platforms such as Google, YouTube, and all these other streaming outlets and platforms. What would Donald Trump do to change that censorship, to change all that suppression of information, Dan?
First of all, with the Federal Trade Commission, and who he puts in there. And you got to remember, Elon Musk has his ear.
Okay.
This is the thing about Elon Musk, Malik. The Democrats loved Elon Musk up until a few years ago when he bought Twitter.
Yeah, they did.
Before they loved him, when he did all these great things he's been doing with the electric car, SpaceX, and all this other stuff. And obviously, he's the richest man in the world. They liked him. Then when he bought Twitter and exposed all the stuff that had been going on with the Democratic Party and the big tech firms, all that stuff got exposed. Mm-hmm. And then you had several people, and then the people that his investigators went before Congress and testified. It exposed all the shenanigans, all the crap that the Democrats had coordinated, the deep state, these embedded bureaucrats within the federal government that are basically all Democrats. They had coordinated the censorship of Donald Trump, conservatives, the January 6th stuff, all of that stuff, the Russia stuff, all of that stuff started coming out. And then he became public enemy number one.
Yes, he is. Yes, he did.
They hate his guts now. They hate his guts. The left hates his guts. He's got
Elon Musk.
threats.
You're talking about Elon Musk.
Yeah. They hate him almost as much as they hate Trump now.
Wow.
Just like they used to love Trump. Now they hate him.
Oh yeah, all them Democrats used to love Trump. They used to love him. You seen listen, Dan, you seen all them rappers and all them celebrities pulling all on Donald Trump.
Yep, hanging out at his hotels and stuff like that, and his casinos. They loved him. But the thing about it now is, you've got Trump in there. Even Zuckerberg has already tried to have a more moderate tone. About 3 months ago, he came out and
apologized at Congress.
Exactly.
Didn't he come out at that Congress meeting and he apologized because he said they made me censor certain individuals?
Exactly. Because he saw the handwriting on the wall. He figured that Trump was going to win, and he knew it was going to be a new sheriff in town. Wow. And I'm telling you this, they are worried. They are worried because they know it's going to be hell to pay now. It's not going to be business as usual, just like it's not going to be business as usual in D.C. anymore.
Let's take a quick commercial break so we can pay the bills.
Sometimes we let the outside noise tap into our biggest insecurities. But like the river, like a waterfall flowing with ease, it's time to cleanse those thoughts. Melt away your fears, water you, lean into a confident you. With IDRX, I'm just leaning into the best version of me.
Welcome back to the score. Dan, let's resume on with that because this is very interesting.
Yeah, like I said, the big tech folks already know. And the thing about it, in Silicon Valley, you had some tech billionaires that basically walked away from the Democratic Party and started supporting Trump right in the middle of this election, especially after he was shot at.
Yeah.
And when he was convicted on that those phony charges in New York, some of them said, this is ridiculous. I've had enough. This is ridiculous. Some of the big hedge fund guys jumped ship because they're traditionally Democrats. People think that the super wealthy are Republicans. They're not. They're all Democrats.
No, they're Democrats.
The super wealthy, the elites are all Democrats.
Yeah.
It is the
and a lot of them are super sick.
Yeah.
A lot of them are super sick.
Yeah. I think they have a wealth. I call it like a wealth remorse complex. They get super wealthy and then they start feeling remorse, like, I'm so wealthy. It's just stupid.
But it turns a lot of them. But Dan, it turns a lot of them sick. A lot of them end up becoming sick and twisted.
Exactly. Yeah.
And perverted.
Yep, we do know that, don't we? But the thing about it is, there's a new sheriff in town, and the big tech companies know that, and they know more than likely if Trump is very successful, you're gonna have Republicans in power for a generation now. They know that the Democrats are really they're a fractured party because the Democratic Party is not the party of Jimmy Carter or even Bill Clinton back in the 90s. It's definitely the party of JFK. It's been hijacked by the lunatic left. the nutcases. They have taken over that. They've destroyed that party. They've destroyed that party. It's a party of the woke and stupid. That's what it is now. And moderate Democrats have nowhere to go. So they just now they're voting for Trump. Trump has made the Republican Party it's a nationalist party of the working class and business people. That's what it is now.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs.
Well, my thing is, I hope Trump really comes in to deal with these media platforms now that we know that mainstream media, these real big news outlets like MSNBC, CNNBC, ABC, and all these mainstream, media outlets is dead. Now I hope he comes in and really, really crack down on these streaming platforms, because if not, they will continue to suppress people's content, to suppress information that is put out. Because if you knock down the mainstream media and get them out of the way, and now you're dealing with these streaming platforms like a Google and all these, and YouTube and all these type of platforms that's suppressing people's information, so other people can't see it, or slowing it down. It's almost like when you're dealing with YouTube or you're dealing with Google and YouTube, it's almost like you're a part of some type of initiation. Like you got to be initiated and you got to go through the rites of passage in order for you to get monetized, or in order for you to be able to have your information out in front of the masses of people, which is not right.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is you're going to have more regulation from that standpoint.
Yes.
Even though Trump wants less regulation overall, I think he's going to go after the big tech companies. He's going to go after, because of what they did to him.
He has to, Dan. He has to. He has to, Dan, because I literally sit back and I look at the analytics over here on YouTube, and I'm watching how they suppressing certain content that we putting out, and this is good content that we putting out, and this is going along with the rules and with the rules and regulations of YouTube. So we in compliance. There's no excuse. We are definitely in compliance, but I watch the analytics on certain content that we put out, and they suppress it so individuals cannot see it.
Exactly. Things are going to change, believe me. They're going to change, because Congress now will have the power. They'll have the support of the executive branch now to really start investigating. They've already been running investigations, but they haven't been getting cooperation with the feds, with the FBI, the Federal Trade Commission, and some of these other organizations that have been in bed with these big tech companies. Now there's going to be a new. You've heard about them destroying documents and stuff like that. Now the current administration and stuff, because they know they're going to be exposed. They're going to put people in there all they're going to be doing, and it will probably be part of that commission that's going to be set up with Musk and Ramaswamy. And that's going to be part of reducing the government. And they're going to be investigating all these doggone agencies. They're going to be bringing people in. That's going to be their full-time job, to get to the bottom what's been going on for the last 4 years. All the crimes that were committed, the cover-ups, all of that stuff, the censorship, all of that. The DEI hiring and the wokeism that's been that permeated the whole federal government. All that crap's going to end now. It's going to end. That's what the people voted for. They want full disclosure. And that's what's going to happen. As part of that, they're going to be going after the big tech companies too, because the big tech companies,
should.
They were in bed. They were in bed with the Democratic Party and the Biden administration.
They should go after these big tech companies, Dan. They should. And I'm looking for that day to take place when Ramaswamy, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and this whole, Republican Party really starts to implement these changes that needs to be implemented, because it's been a lot of shady and a lot of crooked bullshit that's been going on for the past 16 to 17, 18 years.
Exactly. It actually started on January 21st, 2009. That's when all this stuff started.
2008, if you really ask me.
Well, when he took office.
When Obama took office.
Exactly. That's when all this stuff started. Obama said all this stuff that's been going on over the last what, 16 years?
Yeah.
15 years?
Yeah, 15, 16 years.
This was put in place and started. The weaponization of the federal government started under Barack Obama. Richard Nixon would blush at the stuff that's been going down within these agencies, the weaponization of these agencies. He would blush. It was well beyond his level of comprehension. If he were alive today, he could not believe that the Democrats have gotten away with all this stuff over the last 15 years. The weaponization of the IRS, the FBI, the NSA, the CIA, all of these agencies, FTC, all of this stuff.
Well, I'm looking for
the EPA. I mean, think of it. Just give me an alphabet agency, and it's been weaponized. And it's
I'm looking for the new day to take place come January 2025, when Donald Trump gets sworn in to become officially our 47th president of the United States of America. And in closing, Dan, I just wanted to connect with our viewers and our listeners to really make them understand that mainstream media is dead, but you need to keep your eyes open and stay focused with these social media platforms like Google, YouTube, and all these other streaming platforms to make sure that they get in compliance, and to make sure that they stop censoring and suppressing people's content. And until the next episode, you guys stay plugged into The Score. Like this channel, subscribe, comment, and until next time, peace.
If only you knew, you would call up the credit guru. Now I'm good with the credit bureau. Now I'm